JRPGs is one of the most beloved genres of gaming, the most premier experience for children to get lost in the fantasy world, immersing themselves as a shonen protagonist who goes from rags to riches, saving the world by defeating God. Though recently, JRPGs have been in the mud. It seemed like JRPGs was a dying genre, kept barely afloat by Atlas and Square Enix. But times are changing, as the second coming of Christ has finally spawned and is ready to uproot JRPGs into a new age, a platinum age. Clair Obscur Expeditions 33. Oh, how I hate that name. 2 million sales and ongoing. 145,000 players, and that's only accounted for Steam. God knows how many console and Game Pass players there are. 161,000 viewers peak on Twitch. Clair is officially mainstream. But why has Clair blown up exponentially? Well, the answer lies in the stagnation of JRPGs. Most old gamers, emphasis on old, has likely played a JRPG once in their lives, typically as a child, and they haven't touched a JRPG since. Though if they have, they couldn't get into it because they have outgrown the JRPG formula. A shonen narrative with teenagers defeating gods with the power of friendship. You know, anime shit. Personally, I love all of this because I am a JRPG fanboy, but I understand why the casual gamer and the jaded JRPG fan detest this, because anime isn't for everyone. Despite anime being the most mainstream it has ever been, a lot of people still detest anime. This is why Clair is being glazed to the heavens, treated like the reincarnation of Jesus. And this has caused uproar in the JRPG community, because a lot of classic JRPG fans feel like the new dog has came to take a shit on their golden gem. Some even claim that there's hints of racism, with the white man swooping in to make a better Japanese game than the Japanese. Now that's a reach, but I do understand where they're coming from, because it's not like these feelings are new. Back in the day, JRPGs were despised as anime garbage, like today. That's what a JRPG term was invented, to disassociate Japanese RPGs with the superior Western RPG. Clair is often compared to Baldur's Gate 3, the savior of CRPGs, and this has upset JRPG fans because the difference is JRPGs were never dead. Stagnated, but not dead. But that's just culture war nonsense, who cares? The real question is, does Clair deserve the high praise it has received? And the answer is obviously yes. Clair is one of the best games I've ever played, easily a 9 out of 10, a phenomenal piece of art. But glaze aside, let's fairly analyze each element Clair does better than JRPGs and which is fraudulent. Starting with the most important element of a JRPG, the writing. The narrative of Clair is very unique. A band of expeditioners that scout islands with horrible abominations to defeat an art hole. That's way better than a typical band of teenagers that defeat God with the power of friendship. It reminds me of Hell's Paradise, but French, which makes sense considering Clair is a French JRPG, or jrpg, however you pronounce it. Next, the characters. Adults. It wouldn't matter if Clair had dog shit writing, which it doesn't, it's great. But the fact that it's an adult cast gives it so many points. Though it's not like Clair is the only JRPG with adult characters, but it's one of the few. And with adult characters comes mature writing. The characters feel like real people and not exaggerated tropes. They talk with a normal cadence rather than grunts. Yeah. Personally, I didn't realize that people disliked anime grunts so much. To me, it's part of the charm, but to others, that exaggerated dialogue is revolting. However, despite most JRPGs not having an adult cast, that doesn't mean their writing isn't mature. Plenty of JRPGs have insightful writing despite having a teenage cast. And there's plenty of dark topics covered in Persona. Hell, Persona 5 had literal rape. So while an adult cast opens up more opportunities, it's not mandatory for a mature tone. Also, let's be honest, a lot of people are jaded bastards. No judgment, but life is hard, and the more you grow, your childish imagination begins to peel, layer by layer, until there's nothing left but pain. These people become unable to connect to anything wondrous and lighthearted, because that's not how they see the world. This is why a lot of people dislike anime, because it's too exaggerated and full of life. They need grounded realism, and that's okay. This is the main reason why Clair popped off so hard with non-JRPG fans, because there's no anime. Whenever a game trailer appears during the Game Awards, simply seeing an anime aesthetic is enough to immediately turn someone off from the game. Japan's vibrant colors scare people. They prefer the subdued, dull colors of the West, Call of Duty style. Personally, I enjoy both. They can coexist. But vibes aside, the next big element that Clair has quote-unquote revolutionized is the combats. Anime tropes aside, non-JRPG fans despise turn-based combats. The menu simulator definitely has a lot of fans, cultish fans, who are willing to go to war with ARPG fans, but at the end of the day, they are the minority. Clair has made turn-based combat engaging by actually making it interactive. This has swooned gamers who would never have gave a turn-based game a chance. However, if you are a non-JRPG fan, you'll be surprised to know that Clair didn't introduce the QTE mechanic. This system has been around since the 90s. The Mario RPG series, Legend of Dragoon, Final Fantasy X, Yakuza? Though surprisingly, a lot of people dislike the interactive combat. So they rather play a menu simulator? Prefaces, I guess. Personally, I prefer Mario's implementation of QTEs because of its fast-paced, snappy nature, compared to Clair's Souls-like delays. Oh lord, how I despise those goddamn delays. I was very tempted to download the Easy Parry mod, but nah, I'm not pussy. The final big element that Clair has supposedly done better than every JRPG is the pacing. Clair's main story can be beat in about 35 hours. Everything included, 60 hours. That's amazing for a JRPG, because they are some of the longest games in gaming, 100+ hours. That's why some of the best JRPGs are on the shorter side. People have lives. They don't have time to dedicate their life to a humongous game, because likely it will get dropped. That's not to say longer JRPGs are bad. Look at Persona 5. That game is notorious for its length, yet it's still regarded as one of the best JRPGs. What matters is the content. It doesn't matter if you have 10 hours of content or 100 hours. Is the content worthwhile? No? Then it should be cut out. Objectively speaking, Persona 5 has a ton of fluff, but that's the main appeal of the series. The dungeon crawling is the side content if we're being honest. People love bonding with the characters and building social links. A similar example is the Yakuza franchise. The mini-games are the main appeal of that series. If the content is fun, it doesn't matter how many hours the game is. The problem is when the content is just padding. Look at Rebirth, a phenomenal game, one of the best RPGs of all time. Yet, even I had trouble finishing the game because of the amount of filler. Bad filler. So Clair's short hours is neither a positive nor a con. It just has good content. So with all of that in mind, did Clair revolutionize JRPGs, and is it the new standard like Baldur's Gate 3 for CRPGs? Yes and no. Clair didn't introduce anything new. It's just a well-produced big-budget JRPG that has built on the foundation of many great JRPGs before it. However, it has also refined on that foundation tenfold. It truly shows what a modern JRPG should look and play like. This is how Clair has become a mainstream smash hit, despite being the underdog known by nobody. Hopefully JRPG developers take influence from Clair while also putting their own spin on it, similar how Clair has done to other JRPGs.